Nobody introduced the podcast. How's it going, everybody? This is Senior Support Group. Episode, I could not tell you, 5, 6.
Yeah.
Something like
that. We are here with 2 guests, but they're not seniors. But they were seniors at some point. Yeah. So if you guys would like to introduce yourselves.
Yeah, I'm Mr. Pecoraro. I teach AP Lang, and I also teach freshman English here at Wooten High School. Happy to be here.
I'm Mr. Hitchens. I was an English teacher. You all know that I'm an assistant principal this year. But I'm an assistant principal this year, and the last year I was the head of the English department, and the year before that, or the many years before that, I was an English teacher and taught AP Lang as well, and 10th grade English. I've taught, I think, all the grades actually, but very happy to be here this afternoon.
Hitchens is on the fast track to superintendent.
Right, yeah, right. I would not want that job.
I was gonna say I did not know that, but that is really cool.
Yeah, that's so exciting.
Yeah, definitely exciting.
Mr. Peck, you forgot to mention one of your classes, the infamous Eco Studies.
You're right. This year I was able to run my first elective, which is Eco Studies. Pretty incredible. It's probably one of the joys of this year. I have a great group of students who chose to register for my class. Minus Zara. I'm kind of bummed about that, but I understand.
I can explain myself.
You don't have to, it's okay. But yeah, so it's been fun kind of teaching kids about engaging with the natural world and looking at some of the history of environmentalism. So yeah, thank you, Ari. I did forget about that.
All right, and are you all 3 taking that class? I guess minus Zara.
Just me and Eli are in it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I would have taken the class, and then I just.
But he was just like, wow, if I spend any more time with Mr. Peck, it's just.
I can understand.
True.
Yeah, definitely really cool. That's like by far my most engaging class. Just kind of like what we talk about is very interesting to me personally.
I think it helps that it's like a small group.
Yeah, that's true. It's a small class too.
What do you guys talk about? I'm having some extreme FOMO here. But I'm not a part of the class.
That I could try and sum it up, but I also just couldn't if I tried. Like it's all over the place.
Description.
It's good. It's all over the place in a good way. It's like
I'd say like
very in depth on like different things, but it's not really like as linear as like I don't think it's as linear as you have in mind.
Sorry,
like,
that was like the most vague.
It's
Mr.
a
Peck,
count
why don't you
scale,
tell me
like
about it?
like we'll analyze these like poems like related to like nature, environment, life, and then on the other hand we got this like big project where like we have our own free reins about doing things like related to eco studies.
That was very well explained.
That was thank you, Ari. There's it is a legitimate class. Yeah. It's a student-led, project-based environmental class. So I kind of created a project that's like a semester-long project. Students get to pick, whether it's some students are like studying the environmental impacts of fast fashion. Some students are doing like water pollution, whether it's global or local issues. And then the idea is that they'll all kind of create some type of product, whether it's a research paper or it's an advertising campaign or like a environmentally friendly business. So the idea is that it's kind of just, it's an independent type class where I present different topics just to kind of scratch the surface, hoping that, students will take it and run and kind of learn on their own. And that's kind of that's it. And just very casual and discussion based. And we listened to Woody Guthrie, This Land Is Your Land, and analyzed the lyrics, and just, it is all over the place. I'm not going to lie.
That's going to be like a lot of what like college classes you'll be in too. Like it'll be a very much like, here's a topic, you guys go figure some stuff out. I remember in college I had one of my English teachers we read some Shakespeare play and he was like, okay, go write a paper. We're like, about what? And he was like, yeah, the play. Like, go ahead. Okay. So it's good to get that practice in now.
Yeah, that sounds super cool. I've heard you've been into bird watching, Mr.
Hitchens as well, but I
Oh, you
have.
too, Mr. Hitchens?
We got a couple of dorks over here.
That's like a great thing for like
No, that's a good
pandemic.
hobby.
I got my binoculars and my field guide, and I've been taking notes and trying to do some illustrations and kind of creating my own little bird book. And yeah, so it's been something that I've actually found great joy in. Yeah, absolutely.
I have a question for you guys. Oh, Ron, you got it.
Yeah, I just have a question. Where are the prime bird watching locations in this area?
I really like the sky would be better than like, it would probably be a little bit closer. But
You can do, I mean, there's urban bird watching. I mean, obviously like New York City, like the pigeons, and that's like the big thing up there. I would say in this area, probably like Seneca, up probably North County, you know, where obviously the more green space, you're probably going to get more natural wildlife. Black Hills, you know, the regional kind of parks. I'm trying to think of other places in the Rockville area that might be good for that.
So there's a park right near Wooten, actually, on Hurley, like next to I think it's a Lithuanian museum right now. It used to be a nursing home. Anyway, there's a community garden down there. It's called Wooten. I think it's called Wooten Mills, and they get Baltimore Orioles that return there every spring and summer, and it's kind of a cool spot to go. I've been several times. They like to put their nests at the top of willow trees, and you can go see these like hanging nests that they have. It's kind of awesome because like Baltimore Orioles are kind of like rare-ish, and it's one of the only spots that you can go see them. So that's a pretty sweet spot.
You all are really selling me on bird watching right now. This is like my favorite.
Zara, I could see you getting very into it.
Well,
Like,
because I love geese. I don't know, is that like does that count as a, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I need to hear your opinions on geese.
Yeah, Ron and I have debated this because actually I probably debated this with all of these boys because I love geese and I get a lot of backlash for it because I know, you know, they poop a lot and they walk in the roads, but I just
They'll bite you too. They're aggressive.
Territorial.
They'll mess. They will like, yeah.
Right. So defiant and unapologetically geese. And that is why I love them. So what do you guys think about geese? Do you have any opinions? Any criticism?
I think I appreciate them because they have one of the more distinct calls. So you kind of like, even if you're not really into birds, I think most people can kind of identify a goose call. The same thing with like crows.
Demonstrating
Crows are some of the more intelligent birds that are kind of overrated. So crows are some of the more intelligent birds. They actually have the biggest brain to body ratio. But we kind of like dismiss them as like dirty blackbirds. But yeah, so I think geese are kind of the same way. A lot of people tend to underappreciate geese. So I'm with you, Zara. They're one of my favorite.
Thank
I
you.
have no opinion on geese, I don't think, but I'm going to ask Mr. Pecoraro a dorky birding question. Mr. Pecoraro, did you get to go see this painted bunting that was here like a few months back? I think it was at Great Falls. You guys should look up painted bunting. That's what it's called. Painted and then bunting. It is insane, and they're very rare. And there was, I can't believe I'm talking. This is so dorky. They're very rare, but the one was here. Like I think it still might be here. Like one got lost or something. They're never usually here. They're like much more southern and you know, yeah, good. Look up a painted butt. Yeah, this is beautiful. It's like a crazy tropical bird. Look at that.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
So I got to see one. There's one at Great Falls, and I went there, and there was like 50 people with like giant cameras that are like this long, and they were all set up, and it was pretty cool. I saw it. I had my binoculars. I mean, it was cool, man. It was a pretty.
I didn't know that one was in town. I'm kind of aloof to like the news of it.
Yeah. I think I read I think it was in the Washington Post or something like that. I'm like, there's this crazy bird and everybody's flipping out. And I was like, oh, I'll go see that thing. It's pretty cool.
That was like the Orioles. I had no idea where because they are extremely hard to find, and yet it's like our state bird. And everybody's always like, oh, like what's up with the Orioles? And it's like I've never seen one. Like they're really like they're difficult to locate. They're hard to see. Yeah.
So like in general, is there like a website or app where, or like forum of some sort where you can like go find those locations?
It's called eBird, but I have never been there. I'm not kidding. The people are crazy about this stuff. Like there'll be like some
Like
bird
the
in
name.
backyard.
It's a good name.
Yeah, it's very smart.
eBird.
They'll like report it and be like, I just saw a rose-breasted gosbeak in my back, whatever, and you're like, all right, cool. Like people will go like from miles around and like go to that location.
Yeah.
That reminds me of, in a very, very loose sense, like Pokemon Go, like the craze.
Yeah.
But it's like there's actually something there. It's not just like cool.
Yeah.
It's really funny.
Have either of you guys seen the movie The Big Year?
Yeah.
That's
I
like,
saw that.
I
What is
used to
that?
like turn on my TV and it just like be on like as a kid. And that is like my, like, I love watching that movie for some reason.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I really like Steve Martin's in that, right?
Yeah, Steve Martin, Jack
Yeah.
Black, and Owen Wilson.
Yeah. That's pretty good. It's all Peck. It's all about like people trying to go and see as many birds as they can. It's like you're completing your checklist or whatever for the year.
It's like a competition. Yeah, it sounds pretty lame, but it's a really cool movie.
That's a really interesting premise for a movie, is looking for birds. That's really cool.
It's a
This
really
has been like touched upon in our eco studies class, but this documentary on Netflix called My Octopus Teacher. I just watched it not that long ago and it was so good. I highly recommend to the four of you. I don't know if you guys have seen it,
Oh,
but
I've
it's
seen
about
it.
like,
I love
you've
that.
seen it?
What's it about?
It looked
it's
weird. It
about-
looked too weird, and I switched off. But it was nominated for Oscar today, so I'll probably go watch it.
Mhm.
It's about this diver who like basically takes up like diving in. He lives like right on the coast of, I think it was like the Atlantic or something like that, and he like, sorry.
Sorry.
Okay. And then he basically just like starts diving every day in the same spot and meets this octopus, and long story short, befriends it, and they start like convening and seeing each other or making an effort to like go find each other and interact. And it's really cool because like you don't really see that from an octopus. Like you can't really see that like from a cat or a dog or anything.
Yeah, it made me cry. I thought it was beautiful. It was really good. I thought it was called My Friend Octopus. Is it Teacher?
Yeah, my octopus teacher.
Oh,
Yeah, he's a filmmaker who kind of got burnt out. He actually spent a long time doing like the Kalahari Bushman and kind of traveling the world, and then he kind of burnt out a little bit. And he kind of refound his passion for nature and filmmaking through kind of just like casually diving. And he lives on in the Cape in South Africa. So he kind of went to this kelp forest and he would dive every day. And he like befriends and he kind of develops a relationship with this octopus. So yeah, it is worth watching. It's like extremely informative, and then it's also like they do a good job of creating the narrative, and it's just it is a good movie. Yeah, I'm
But
glad
it's
you
not like a cheesy documentary like type movie. It's just the one guy, I think, who filmed it all.
Mm-hmm. I'm so proud, Eli. You took a recommendation and you liked it. Good.
that's such a good feeling when you tell someone like you think they'll like it and then they do. You
Yep.
feel so validated.
I had like looked into it, but I needed that like credible source to be like, it's good. And I hadn't heard that yet. I just kind of seen it and been like a little confused.
So that's what's happening with me right now. I saw it on Netflix and I was like, all right, this looks really weird. I don't know. We'll see. And then I, watch something else. But now because of this conversation, I'll go watch it. I'll report back in. Let you guys know what I think.
Just kind of switch up the topic. I wanted to ask you guys kind of like, what are your opinions on returning back to school?
I think Hitchens should start because he's back at school already.
Yeah,
so.
he's back because we know the perspective of a lot of the students, but maybe some teachers.
What's the perspective of the students? I'm curious too. Give me 30 seconds on that, and then I'll answer your question.
All right.
You got it, Ari?
I mean, I'll say like mine. Like, I mean, I know perspectives are definitely mixed. I have some friends who don't want to go back, probably going to stay virtual. Personally, I want to go back. I'm going to go back. And I'm pretty excited for it. So What do you guys think?
Well, I think that I mean, you summed it up pretty well. There's a lot of people who don't really get why we're going back for a short amount of time and are continuing to opt out. And then there are people opting out for like obviously COVID reasons. Like me, initially I opted out because of COVID, but now that vaccines are like my family's getting vaccinated, I might consider opting back in. But it's just a lot of is it worth like restructuring our day-to-day life again for like a shorter period of time?
Sure.
Gotcha. Yeah. So I'll tell you that the building's ready. I'm in the building. I up until March 1st, I was coming in every Monday and Tuesday. And I was here in the building. And then since March 1st, I've been coming in every day, 7 o'clock till 4. Like I'm here. And I do feel very safe. They've and granted, it's not full of students or anything, but the building's not going to be full of students this year anyway. But I feel safe. I feel like we've done a lot at the school, or building services done a lot at the school. It's going to be completely different if and when you come back. The spaces are all different. There's stairwells that are only going up, only going down. There's tape along the middle of the hallways so that you're going, it's kind of like a road, one way kind of deal. All the classrooms have taken most of their furniture out and put in spaced out desks. So all the desks are spaced out. Each class only has a total of 12 students in it, or 12 desks rather. And then, there are areas like the commons or like the cafeteria where we have big, again, spaces completely cleared out and desks spaced 6 feet apart. So I would feel very safe here. And I've felt safer here, than I have going to the grocery store in the past, or going to get carry out or anything like that. And so from a safety standpoint, I think the school in particular has done a really good job for that. But it's definitely going to be different, guys. It has to be, right? At least for the time being. But I think it's going to be good to have students back in here. And I also think that it's good that they're doing this phased back in kind of thing. And I think it's good that seniors are starting, because that does mean the seniors that are going to come back are going to get free reign of the building for a little while. You'll have a couple weeks where the building is yours, and you all deserve that and deserve to be here and, have it be what you want to be, especially after the last year that we've all had. So that's my answer for right now. I don't know. And yeah, that's my answer.
Very well said. I feel really good about going back to school now. That was pretty, I don't know about everyone else, but that was good.
I mean, I think that does give the teacher administration perspective, which is something that I think a lot of people need. I think the decision is going to come down to I don't want to say convenience, because it's not even convenience. If people can't make it work or something like that now, then they might not be able to come back. But I think that especially as vaccines keep rolling out, I think that it's just gonna the potential will keep getting better for how much we can do and stuff like that. So
yeah, definitely agreed.
I guess I can kind of respond from two perspectives, which is the personal and then the teacher. So as a teacher, I'm looking forward to getting back. I'm kind of itching to get back. I think most teachers get into the profession because they like being with young people. I enjoy being in the presence of young minds and asking questions, and it gives me energy. I mean, it's kind of it's the magic of teaching that I enjoy. I always tell my students, I feel like I'm stealing money. I get paid to kind of hang out with teenagers all day and talk and ask questions and do that thing. So it's been difficult teaching through Zoom because I feel like it's hard to engage. And I know from students, it's more difficult to engage. So I think from the teaching perspective, I'm really excited. And then personally, I like structure. I like routine. I thrive on it. I wouldn't be really good at working from home or being my own boss. I like being a certain place at a certain time. So I and some people don't, but I like showing up to work every day at 7, leaving at 3:30. Like I like that routine. So I've kind of been missing, I think most people have kind of been missing that from their lives. It's almost like these days bleed into each other, and you go from the couch to the kitchen table to the bed to the couch. And so I'm kind of really personally, I'm looking forward to just getting back to like what I would, what life used to be like, or kind of more normal. So I'm really excited. I'm looking forward to getting back. And yeah, I'm sure that the schools in Montgomery County are doing everything they need to be doing. So I'm not really concerned about the health aspect so much. I think more for the mental health and just kind of for the sake of getting back, I think it's important. So I'm happy.
I've definitely found that like return to routine helpful. Like I'm so much more productive here. Yeah, mental health is good. Like it just changing physical locations is really helpful. And school's meant to be in person, man. You're supposed to be in front of your classes looking at everybody. And I do think that like the virtual school has been pretty interesting, and there have been a lot of successes, but it's a shadow of what it could be. And I'll be really excited when students come back.
Yeah, I've definitely become a better teacher in terms of my technologically savviness or whatever. I've learned how to use a lot of apps, and I definitely have found myself spending more time creating slides and adding to the visual aspect. So I think there have been some kind of silver linings through it all, but yeah, I really do just kind of miss being in the presence of students and my colleagues, and being able to kind of talk in the hallways to kids that I haven't seen in a while, and all the interpersonal stuff that we kind of miss right now.
Yeah.
You guys are.
No, you can talk if you want.
Okay. What do you guys think school will look like once COVID is over, or we've reached the point where like things are relatively back to normal? Maybe we're still wearing masks, but there's no limit on how many people can be in a building. But basically just like in that time frame, do you think school will fundamentally be any different or the same? And then teaching, do you guys think that teachers will take more from what they've learned over this virtual setting and like apply it in person?
Good question. I could foresee things being pretty normal in terms of like the actual logistics of class and walking around and getting with groups and doing gallery walks. And I think that's going to go back pretty quickly. I hope teachers are going to be more aware that students can learn independently. And that's something that I have kind of always kept with me, that not everybody learns the same way. And some students, benefit from quiet time, and some students need to talk it out. So I think that, some students are thriving in this virtual setting, and some students are really struggling, and it's not the students that we'd always expect. So I think a lot of teachers are probably realizing now that, if a kid wants to work quietly on their Chromebook, that might be the best situation for them, although it might not feel like they're engaged in class. In terms of that student's learning, that might be the most effective and productive way. So I think you're going to see a lot of teachers more willing to experiment, or more willing to kind of give that independent space to students. Whereas, I think in the past, it was always kind of, hey, we're all on page 1, let's read page 1 together. I think you're going to see a lot more of that kind of do it at your own pace, just get it done type of mentality.
Yeah, I agree. I think it could get back to, close to what it once was pretty quickly, but I agree. I think it'll be really interesting to see what sticks and what doesn't. Like, I do think that there will be, as Mr. Peck said, like there are some students who are doing really well with this model, who are able to sit in their room or at home, crank out a bunch of work, be pretty confident they are getting the content of what they're learning, and that's that. So I'm interested to see if there's like some continuous, like more prominent, like virtual option, like moving forward. Maybe like 3% of families are just going to choose, hey, we'll go to virtual high school or something. Like I'm interested to see if there's a way around that. I'll tell you also that I really hope that snow days come back.
was
I
gonna
thought
ask
that
you
was
that.
brutal. My wife is a teacher too. She teaches at a private school, and both my boys go there. And they had snow days this year, but I didn't. And so I was like working at home, and they're out, like I can hear them screaming and having fun in the backyard. And I'm like, man. So I hope snow days come back. But it'll be interesting to see what else sticks and what doesn't, for sure.
So it sounds like the general consensus is that A days and B days will not stick.
I doubt it.
Yeah. It
But
was just
maybe.
a thought. I mean, the big issue that comes up is the asynchronous Wednesday and what would happen. But I think, at least for me, like I find A days and B days much more digestible.
Yeah, I've heard of that too. I've heard a lot of students really enjoy like the just like 4-hour long classes a day. And I agree. Again, like that'll be what more similar to what college is like anyway too, if we're trying to prepare students to go to college. But and honestly, more what the real world is like too. It's a bear to try to get to 8 classes, 45 minutes, bang, 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 and then do everything you're doing after school and then do all the homework and all of it. So I would like to see it stick. I'm a fan of the block schedule and, trying to see what we can do with the schedule. But I doubt MCPS would be on board, but who knows? They've certainly surprised me a lot this year. So we'll see.
My first 5 years of teaching actually were in a high school that had block scheduling. So I came from an 1.5-hour class period. So it took me, when I got the job at Wooten, it took me a little while to get used to the 45-minute block or the time period, because it felt, like nothing. By the time I got through warm up and kind of did a little bit of teaching, it was time to dismiss. So I felt like with the 1.5 hours, and I know that we're only doing an hour right now, but it was an 1.5 hours, I could really get a lot more in depth. We could do a lot more, I don't want to say quality teaching, because you can still do quality in a short amount of time, but it was just the time pressure wasn't there. Now I think because most teachers are used to the 45 minutes, they're able to kind of divvy up the work to fit that. But yeah, I'm a firm believer. I have no problem with block. I think that there are a lot of benefits from that as well.
I have to go take a break really quickly. I thought my mom came home, but she's not here, and someone just walked into my house. So I need to go see if I'm being robbed. I will be right back. Give me a quick minute, guys. I'll let you know in a second.
All right. Hope you
Good
don't get
luck.
robbed, Zara.
Ready
Yeah.
to go on speed dial or something?
All right. So
All right, wait, real quick. This little break while Zara's gone, I have a more interesting question to ask you guys. All right, this is a scenario I want to get your guys' opinion. So you're not going to be prepared for this. Say you're trapped in a basement, right, with a lion, a bear, and a honey badger. Okay, imagine the scenario. Okay, so you have to fight 2 of them to get out, and the other one is going to be your teammate. What do you go with?
What did you just ask them? Sorry, it was my brother. I'm okay, by the way. Very safe. Safe and sound.
I asked them a hard-hitting question.
What kind of bear, Ari?
Grizzly,
Okay,
say
how
grizzly.
about
Or
a-
polar
a
bear.
brown
Polar
bear,
bear.
a brown bear?
Polar bear. Yeah.
Polar bear. Okay.
no, I think it should just be a typical, grizzly bear.
Polar bear.
Yeah,
Polar
grizzly
bears
bear,
are so
grizzly bear.
dangerous.
No, grizzly bear.
Okay,
Well, what's the consensus? This is going to matter for me.
grizzly bear. If polar bears are more dangerous, we'll go with the moderate threat. Grizzly bear.
Grizzly bears are pretty dangerous too.
Yeah, grizzly bear.
We'll go with the less dangerous than polar bear, but still very freaking dangerous.
I think
Grizzly bear.
I think grizzly is the right choice. You have to fight 2, and you get to
And one of them's your team.
one's on your team.
One's on your team.
I know that like honey badgers are extremely like they're not afraid of anything,
Yeah.
and they're like they'll put it all on the line. I don't know in terms of actually fighting off a lion or a bear if they're capable of that, but like maybe they're ferocious enough to kind of buy you some time to get to the stairwell. it feels ridiculous to choose a
You're gonna
honey
ditch your teammate like that, Mr.
That's
Peck?
the point. It's difficult to choose.
Yeah,
Who's your
I
teammate
mean,
in
and
the
they're
den?
all like mature. Like it's not like a baby lion and a baby bear versus like an adult
No.
honey badger.
Do you have weapons? Do you have weapons? Is there like a
Think
bear
about it.
basement? Like there's nothing in there, or like?
Maybe
I
like
like-
a baseball bat.
Ooh, all right.
That's a
Are the
twist.
lights on?
Okay.
Is it dark or is it illuminated?
It's dim. It's not.
It's
It's
like
not
dim, and you're all
really-
around a poker table, but then everyone gets like really like angry because somebody bluffed, and then like he won the money, and they didn't think it was
Mhm.
right. So then, yeah,
And is this
So-
like to the death? Like
Yeah, that was my-
only
that was my-
only
No.
two
Yeah,
things are
it's like,
coming out of that
think
basement?
Think of it like
it's
you're in an
it's
under.
like a boxing match. We're
Yeah,
not going
think
to
of it like-
we're going to like defeat.
Like think of it like you're in an underground fight club, and like this is it.
I'm
if
gonna
I
go
was
with
in
honey
an underground fight club with a honey badger, a lion, and a bear, I'd call it. I'd be like, all right, this is my fate.
That sounds like the start of a bad joke. Which like how did you guys come up with this question?
It was Ari.
I think
Okay.
that I would like to have the lion as my teammate, just because, first of all, that's like the most badass one. I think if you could like
Yeah.
pal around with a lion, and I guess that's the basis for my answer. I think.
I think,
Solid answer.
yeah, I think you're right, Hitchens. In reality, a lion could probably destroy any of those other animals, but I'm gonna go with honey badger because it's kind of the probably the last choice, and
That's what I'm thinking. Honey badger is like a sleeper pick.
I'm a dark horse kind of person, so I'm gonna
Yeah.
go with the honey badger.
And that honey badger is probably fast. It could probably get up and like get
True.
the neck, the jugular of a lion pretty quickly.
I
if
think
it
I'd have
really-
to go. I think I have to go bear, but it's like the bear. Like if I saw a video of a guy like petting a bear, like a grizzly bear, like a dog, like a puppy, and I was like, if you can just bond with a grizzly bear like that, like you guys would just be such a tag team,
You have chemistry.
unstoppable. Exactly.
It's true.
I think of Winnie the Pooh too much when I think of bears. So like I just Winnie the Pooh pops in my head and honey, 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 and that's just not mean enough for me.
Mm.
Yeah, I couldn't really think of a good answer. Like it was too hard of a question for me, but
That's some like Freudian personality test or something.
no, it was just I saw this thing on like social media. I was like that there was just like this situation. I was like, this is really interesting. Like this got me thinking like, who would I choose? The original one was like, if you had to fight one of them to escape, which one would you do? But I thought that this was a more interesting version.
For some reason, it reminds me of I saw this post once. I was like, it looked like this old internet forum, and it was like, who would win, the sun or 1 trillion lions? And then like you just look at it and you're just like, what? And then it goes down and there's like a little comment at the bottom from some guy and it just says, I mean, that's a lot of lions.
It is.
And so I guess we'll never know, but
Yeah.
You guys got any plans? Spring break? That's coming up, right? Spring break's like 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
I was gonna go to the French Riviera, but then the county sent a memo out that said they're asking us not to travel. So I had this whole like hot air balloon adventure kind of planned, and I had to kind of squash it. So I'm kind of bummed.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well,
I got nothing. I got no interest
Yeah.
in plans. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
they-
hopefully take a nap.
It had like, it's that thing where if you like travel out of like one of the bordering states, you have to like quarantine for 14 days or something like that before going back.
Yep.
That's what they're asking. Yeah.
That squashed my plans. How about you guys? Anyone else?
I'm going to colleges
wait, when is
Much.
spring break again?
last week of March / first week of April.
Oh yeah, I think I am going to college.
I have a trip north and a trip south.
But not to Syracuse, Eli. Come on now.
I am going to Syracuse, but with my parents.
Oh, okay. That's
I wasn't about to come visit. We have a friend in Syracuse. I wasn't about to go visit him and bring my family and be like, give us a tour.
Let me ask you guys a question. Are you thinking about colleges based on the college or your majors?
Major.
Or
For
potential majors?
me,
A little
Major.
bit.
for me, it was a mix, but honestly, like majors. And then I kind of like I picked out a bunch of colleges where like what I wanted to do was like really good at that school. And then I kind of went like, ooh, which ones do I like really like?
Yeah, that was my
Yeah.
same thought process basically.
Well,
Especially, oh, sorry, go.
oh no, I was just gonna say I did not. When I was like applying to colleges, I just had a list of places for no particular reason, and then I applied a bunch of places, and then I started like researching them, which is probably not the most effective way to do that. But everything's working out. So the places I've applied, I'm deciding on where I'm going, probably based on my major. But I don't know because I don't know if maybe I'll change my major. So it's
I think it's unusual that we have so many people here that like generally think they know, I guess, or know what they want to do right now. Like, oh, this is going to be my major. I'm going to go here.
Yeah, it is
Took
pretty
me
gorgeous that like
quite a while.
that
yeah,
like
me
but-
too.
yeah, that like we have general ideas of like what we're looking for. That's pretty, yeah. Most people don't. Like my brother, he's almost done with his freshman year. He still like doesn't really know what he wants to do. So
Same with mine. He actually, well, he went to school with, he wanted to, I don't know, what was he majoring in? Like construction management or something. And he just changed his major and now he's like probably going to change it again. And I don't know. It's a lot.
Mr. Peck, how many majors did you have in college? Did you change your major?
I actually didn't. I changed my minor. The only thing I was good at was literature growing up. So that was kind of, I knew I wasn't a science or math person. I don't have a business bone in my body. I'm not interested in making money. So my dad was also a literature English guy. So I made my choice based on the amount of tie-dye shirts I saw. So I visited Millersville University and there were a lot of tapestries hanging from like the houses and a lot of kids with long hair and tie-dye. So that was kind of what sealed the deal for me. And then I was between I was always an English major, declared my freshman year. And then I switched between history and psychology and ended up with history because I had more credits. I took a lot of I just loved the humanities. I loved sociology and psychology and history classes and just kind of just learning. So like liberal arts, I was a very kind of just general liberal arts person outside of English classes. And yeah, so when I counted, it was junior year, I think we had to declare minors and I had a bunch of psych and history classes and just went with history because I guess I didn't want to take like statistics. I think I avoided the psych, I think psych, once you get to like the 300 level, it starts getting much more rigorous and mathematical and quantitative. And I avoided that. So I did more qualitative type of learning.
That's really funny. For a lot of the schools that I've applied to, my major is English, and then I did have for some a minor of getting a call. No, psychology, but I didn't know about all that quantitative things you just said. So maybe that'll be changing soon for me too. I don't know.
Don't worry about it. You guys are smart enough. You're Wooten kids, so you have a good math and science background. I just
No. I
Ah.
would come, Mr. Peck, I feel like I was in your classroom during lunch all the time. Like, I'd be like, guys, I have a math quiz next period. How am I going to make it? Like, math has never been my friend, but I wish I could be. I respect math, I guess. It's fine.
It's challenged you.
It's
So it's earned your respect.
Mhm. Yeah. Definitely. I don't know.
Yeah, I for one think math is pretty cool. I think it's important.
Good for
That's
you.
my take. It's good.
Not denying is not important.
Yeah.
It's important, and I'm glad there are people invested and interested in it to take care of it. It's done. I don't have to worry about it. It's gonna get covered.
I've always been like pretty good at math until started learning virtually, and then math is like my worst class. I just like am really bad at it. Maybe I can't grasp how complicated the material is just via computer. Maybe that's what it is.
I think I've actually made a really, well, in hindsight, it was a very smart move. I'm taking Quantlit this year, which isn't like it's not like a, numeric math class with like algebra or anything, but I'm learning so much stuff that I just had no idea. I didn't know anything about it, and it's very, very practical and important. So like, I'm actually like learning things that will benefit me in the future and things that I had questions about. So it's very, very fulfilling. And I think that, at least for me, like someone who would dread virtual, like I guess like if I was in pre-calc like I was last year, I would have been terrible at it virtually, and I would have been so bored. So I'm glad I'm actually like making use of my time.
Yeah, calculus currently, I love Miss Averill. She is awesome, but it is like the bane of my existence. It is so horrible. I have no clue what's going on in that class. I try so hard, but quant lit was definitely a good move, Eli. I don't know. I'm looking at our list of some of the talking points we had for you guys, and I see one, and I'm really curious. I want to ask you all, how does it make you feel when you're teaching? Or I guess, Mr. Hitchens, you don't do classes? No? Okay. So, Mr. Peck, when people don't have their cameras on, like, what are you thinking? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, I wrote this one. I'm curious.
Yeah, because I hope this doesn't make me sad.
Conspiracy theories.
But
It's disappointing. I mean, that's my first feeling. When I always plead, I spend the first 5 minutes of class kind of pleading with people, we can't force cameras on, so I can, I have a Jewish mother, so I can guilt my students out pretty well. Right, I lay on the guilt pretty good. So a lot of them, and I would say probably 25 to 40%, almost half sometimes in my upper level classes. The freshmen, I think, are really hiding behind those black screens, at least. And I understand they had a rough transition. They really haven't had a high school experience yet, so they don't really understand like who I am or kind of what will benefit them. I think a lot of students don't realize that like they'll find themselves more engaged if they would turn their cameras on. So I think a lot of students are just like, oh, it's an easy out, whereas they don't realize that they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot, so to speak. I assume that they're there. I try to engage. I try to do random questions to random people. I do my roll calls every day verbally, so I do at least hear people's voice every day. That's something that I did bring with me from the old way of learning. But it bums me out. I mean, I think there's probably a good handful of kids that I've never seen their face. I mean, I don't know what they look like. I don't know. All I know is their little name in the corner. And like I said, not almost, I don't mind it. I'm a mature adult. I like to think, and I can, my feelings are okay. But I think for them, I just almost, you almost want to shake them and just kind of say like, hey, like it's good for you. I know that, I don't care about your bed head. I don't care about your PJs or, your dirty, your bed's not made. Like nobody cares about that. Like we just want to kind of be able to engage with you. And as of right now, this is as good as it gets, so that's just kind of, I wish more students did it. I find that asking does help. If I don't ask, a lot of the kids will keep their screens black. And when I do ask gently, a lot of they start to turn on. So I think it's just a small kind of thing to just remember. But it is hard. I mean, when you're staring at black screens, and everybody has their camera off, it makes it really hard to engage. And, if I ask a question, my wait time, whereas I might wait 10 seconds in actual class, I have to wait 30, 45 seconds now to kind of like, are you there? Or are you just kind of, nobody wants to unmute themselves? So yeah, I would recommend for you all and anybody listening, like, be brave and kind of step up and just turn your cameras on. And once you get used to it, I think it just kind of becomes the norm. I think like most things, you just kind of get used to it. But it's been slow going. It has.
yeah, I know it's so interesting with cameras on. I've always noticed as soon as like one person does, more people will, and they get there. And it's a lot more fun when everyone has their cameras on. For newspaper especially, we on our press days, so the day we're like trying to figure out how we're going to do everything, everyone comes on and we all have our cameras on, and it's so fun because people are scared to unmute and talk sometimes. Everything just is so awkward for no reason recently on like online stuff, but when everyone has their camera on, you can all see each other. It feels like you're much more together, and it's nice. I had a moment during my newspaper class. Everyone had their cameras on. I was unmuted. I was talking, and my cat is behind me, and she starts throwing up on my floor. Like, and I don't know if you all have heard a cat throw up before.
Yeah.
But the sound is horrendous. And so I'm like talking, and my cat's in the back, like, okay, never. I was gonna imitate what it sounded like, but I'm not gonna do that.
Don't do that.
They were like, what's going on? And I was like, sorry guys, my cat threw up. And then it was like so silent for like 10 seconds. And then everyone started talking again. It was fine, it was good. But if my camera had been off and you just heard the cat throwing up, like it could have been anything. No one would have known that it wasn't me. That's why I think cameras should. But it's hard when
I think it's easier when there's like when it's a smaller group. So like example, there's never an issue with cameras when it's in planning because we go into breakout rooms and work on our thing. So it's the four of us in a breakout room. So it's like we obviously turn our cameras on for each other, but if we don't have them on, it's just like it's not that big a deal versus like people you don't know as well. It's like it's all the way one way or the other in a sense where it's like you'll either constantly have your camera on and be engaged or like completely checked out.
Mm-hmm.
I think Zara's story may be the perfect spot to close out this episode unless anybody has anything else they want to talk, ask, anything.
My dog is lapping up some water right now, so I don't know if you guys can get that on the audio.
I can't hear.
Plans for the rest of the day, everybody.
She's over there somewhere.
Oh, Peck, it looks so good, dude.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, thank you, Nick. You gave me some good bones to work with.
Oh yeah, I don't know if
Good.
we were recording, but
That's all right.
has Mr. Hitchens' old home,
And he made a lot of changes. It looks way better. So good.
That's so cool.
I'd like to check out your new place.
So all right, I think in the summertime I'm gonna be able to do the basement, which is exciting for me.
I have a question. Mr. Peck, if you lose something in your house, do you ever call Mr. Hitchens? You're like, hey, I lost my keys. Like, is there anywhere it could have like fallen into, like anywhere you think I should look? And then he goes like, oh, check next to the air vent in the living room. Oh, stuff falls behind there. Like, you know what I mean?
I think Hitchens hid things in the yard. So I believe there are like artifacts that him and his kind of like dug and
My son decorated a rock and he wanted to bury it in the yard, so we did do that.
But no, Hitchens left me. He left me some nice garden beds that I've been using. So I have some seeds germinating right now. I got some veggies and some fruits that I'm ready to go with. Yeah, no, it's a cool house. And
who knows what else you'll find hidden in the house there, Mr. Pecoraro.
Just don't check the closet downstairs.
Well, I'm looking for like stacks of money in the drywall. That's what I'm hoping is I can like leave some like vacuum sealed like $100 bills or something like that.
Gold bars.
Yeah, exactly.
Gold bullion, perfect.
All right,
Cool.
we should
you guys
wrap
so
up. We've been going for like an hour.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much. That was really
So
fun.
exciting.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Agreed.
for
Thank you,
Thanks for coming
everybody.
on.
It's honored to be invited by you all. Really, it means a lot. Thank you. Seriously.
Of course, and to anybody watching / listening, thank you for watching / listening. You should follow us on Spotify or subscribe on YouTube. Or if you're a senior, you just kind of know this exists, so just like come watch again. Thank you very much.
Sure, our viewers appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks,
Bye.
guys.
Bye, everybody.